Hello everybody, my name is Bill. This is SixRounds Studio, and this is part 2 of stripping and refinishing a Winchester Model 88 lever action gun stock. I'm using a milled maple block so that I get nice control over the flatness, so I'm not putting dips in the wood. Right now I'm only sanding the broad areas. Once I have the finish stripped on these wider, broader areas, then I'll take it over to the woodworking bench, and we'll start using more intricate tools like dowels and flat sticks to get over these radiuses and into the fluting. So a lot of work to do, but I like to start first on the bench, just trying to get the broad areas sanded. Only in the most extreme cases do I ever use strippers. 99% of all the stripping that I do, the original factory finishes come off just a few strokes of the 100 grit. When the wood below the finish begins to show up, then I stop. And I'll go after that wood with finer grits of paper, and I'll be able to control things like these edges and these contours much better with finer tools. I'll get as close to the tape as I can and still not touch it. Now, I don't know if you can see here or not, but there's different shades. So there are parts of this that are higher than the surrounding wood because this was most likely sanded on a balloon, and they can't get these things perfectly flat, and this flat block that I milled will actually bridge over that, and then we'll be able to get a nice flat surface when we're done. So I've switched over to 180 paper, back sandpaper, and this small stick. That's allowing me to get in close to that tape and not risking sanding through the tape and destroying that checkering. So I'm going to interrupt the magic just for a moment. I want to talk about the sandpaper. There's long been a debate amongst all the woodworkers worldwide about how fine a grit sandpaper that you should go down to when sanding a piece of wood. So there are those who say on walnut you never need to go below 180. There are those that say you have to go to 220. I've heard others argue that 320 is the only place to end up. So I am of the camp that you need to use whatever sandpaper or whatever grit makes you the most comfortable, makes you the most happy, and gives you the results that you're most looking for. As a rule, over the last 50 years, it's been my experience that 180 grit sandpaper is generally as fine as you need to go for most woods, most walnut. I am going to go to 220 because in this case, this wood tends to be a little bit more porous, not as tight grain. So I am going to go to 120. And it's going to be a really quick sand just to make sure I've gotten all those 180 grit marks leveled out or going in the same direction. As a general rule for harder pieces of walnut, the 180 is generally enough for me. Leave a comment if you're a professional woodworker. What is it that you do? And what's your reasons? Don't just tell me what you do. Don't turn around and say, Bill, you're an idiot. Just go ahead and share with me what grits of sandpaper you generally go down to on a piece of walnut and why. Let's get back. So I'm eventually going to add a color coat to the stock. The idea is to get it to match as close as I can the color that this was before I stripped it down, and I'm trying to make it sort of a period reproduction on the finish. But before I do that, I need to put a thin wash coat on. So that's what I'm going to do. This is all sanded, got it sanded down to 220. So I need to put this wash coat on. The wash coat's going to do a couple things. First off, it's going to seal the pores so that when I put the color coat on, the color coat rests on top of that coat of finish and doesn't get down into the pores of the wood. I don't want that to happen. I want it to be a layer of color. And the second thing is the wash coat's going to help me find any imperfections in the wood. So if I made scratch marks, it'll show the scratch marks much easier than I can even under a raking light. So we're going to do the wash coat next. Alright guys, Winchester Model 88 stock refinish is done. Came out really nice. I'm happy with it. Pretty sure the client or the customer will be happy with it as well. Don't go away, because at the end of the video I will show you some close-ups of this gun stock. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I got some fun stuff planned for the future. Gonna do a couple handguns. I've never done a handgun on this channel. I've done a restoration or a modification on a handgun. I got a couple of those coming up over the next few months. Please come back and watch those as well. Guys, I appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.